Yo, keep the faith, never lose hope. What's going on, fellas? What's going on, peoples? And what's going on, ladies and gents? All right. I know I said the wrong thing. What else no? But yeah, and we're back with a fun-filled episode of the Faithful Empire that's powered by the Red and Gold 24/7. All right. And first of all, I know that my fellas wanted to take some time off for just for last month of off season until training camp started. So I told myself I'm gonna keep the Faithful Empire going and keep the Red and Gold on the side burner. It's not dead, just so you know, Faithful. It's not dead. It's on the side burner. Okay, for us to keep it going for the Faithful Empire because we love the UK gentlemen, and Nick Welsh will be here. Nick Welsh will be here on Sunday, and of course we got Paul. All right, so of course I want to introduce me and my guys, me and my lady gents, me of course, Guy Ryan, and of course Paul the Hoop, Denise, and of course over there you got Melissa. Izzy. So, and I want to shout out to my guys, of course, Money Mav, of course you got Coach Ron, GM Mikey, and of course you got Drewski and TJ. Now we're getting plugs out real quick, that way we're all good with that. There you go. Catch Mav on the Convo with Mavicado. That's his Twitter handle. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, Tuesday nights on YouTube and IG. And of course, you catch Line Life with Coach Ron. That's his Twitter handle. 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Monday nights on YouTube and Twitter. And of course, still coming soon. You ain't around it yet, but hopefully we'll get there. But by SD, that's his Twitter handle, and it's coming soon. All right. And of course, I gotta do it, Paul. 400 Faithful UK, that's his Twitter handle, and Club 85. All right. And give a shout out to Nick from Shank Club NFL. That's his Twitter handle, and that's the times. All on Saturdays. All right. So basically, we're not gonna do any topics. It'll be a lot easy. It's gonna be for at least an hour. Just don't bull crap around. I don't want to curse for it yet. It's not even 3 minutes yet. But calling it. No topics, no limits, just an empire. So, what's going on, ladies and gents? What's going on? Now you can tell your story there if you want to, Denise.
Oh, it's actually, like I said, it's kind of a funny little story.
So
I have a Jerry Rice shirt that was autographed years ago. Like I'm talking like when Jerry Rice was in his prime, like way back in the day. And it is now a t-shirt. Well, if you want to call it a t-shirt, my husband says it's a rag because it's got so many holes in it that it's barely a shirt anymore. And he's tried to throw it away many a times. And I'm like, I swear to God, if you throw that shirt away, I'm like, we're over. Like you cannot throw my shirt away. Like I said, that's got Jerry Rice's signature on it. And he's like, you can't even see Jerry Rice's signature on that shirt anymore. He's like, where is his signature? Show me where his signature is. He's like, it's probably on one of the tears that is like, this shirt isn't even a shirt anymore. I'm like, the point is, I know that somewhere in that shirt was Jerry Rice's signature, and I'm not ever throwing that shirt away. I said, I am going to hand this shirt down. I go, basically, when I die, I said, if I'm not wearing this shirt, which I probably won't be because, God help me, it probably won't even be a shirt by then. I said, I want this thrown in with me. Like, shirt buried with me or whatever. I'm like, I want this shirt with me when I go. I'm like, I want it with me. I'm like, that's how much I love Jerry Rice. So I'm like, just make sure that we do not ever throw my shirt away. I'm like, and I still like wear it as a pajama shirt. But it, like I said, it has like holes and everything in it. And it's hysterical that like everyone's like, throw that thing away. They're like, it is not even a shirt anymore. But anyways, that was my little story. I thought it was funny.
It is funny.
It's a great story, to be fair.
Anybody else got any stories?
Well, for
a
bit of context, Ryan, for people just tuning in, when we were getting set up, as you can see, we were kind of comparing war stories, merchandise stories. So that's where Denise's story came from. So to be fair, it was quite good. You're right, Denise. If he ever throws that T-shirt away, I think you've got good grounds for divorce, and I think you've got a lot of people who would agree with me on this show.
Right? I'm like, you can't get. It's like you can't get rid of that. Like seriously, like I mean, he's not wrong. You probably can't even see the signature anymore. Like seriously, that's how old the shirt is. Like, and it was written on a T-shirt, so it's not even like a jersey.
It's not
like it's
about the condition, really. It's about the memory of it and how special it was to you.
Exactly. Izzy is 100% correct.
I mean, Ruby didn't have a choice of being a 49er fan, and she's got 4 jerseys so far in her 9 years on this planet, and the 3 that don't fit her will not be parted with. She will hand them down to her kids because they won't have a choice either.
Right? Exactly.
Hey Denise, why don't you do it now? If you wouldn't mind doing it again, go grab that picture, show everybody what you want. And your jersey, please.
Anything for a shameless Nick Bosa plug.
I'm sorry.
Right?
I love Nick Bosa. Oh my God, I love him. Like I said before, went on air. You got me jealous.
Well, that's for the people just tuning in. Obviously, if you follow me on social media, you'll probably be getting used to my different backgrounds. So tonight, I'm upstairs. For people
And then here's my autograph Patrick Willis jersey that's going in a shadow box but hasn't made it there yet because Denise is a little slow when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I love it. Probably gonna be definitely my next defensive jersey. I'm getting the Bulls. My next one.
Yeah, I got a Patrick Willis up there, so hanging behind me, I've got 2 eBay specials. I got a Owens jersey for about $10, which was an absolute steal. I think the Patrick Willis was about $12. So as soon as I seen them on eBay, when I decided to become 49er fan, I was like, yep, the only game is the Reebok.
Oh, and I have two, but
Shows everything. Yeah, shows everything.
for all the Trey Lance lovers out there,
Is that from Get Me Boy?
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Lou,
So
you must follow Get 'em Boy Enterprises.
So he did. You probably can't see my phone, but he did a free giveaway the other week for his new bully season edition. It's got Shanahan, Williams, Bosa, Trent on, and he gave that as a way as a free screensaver. So I shared that in the 49er Faithful UK. So I know there's a lot of people with that screensaver in the UK.
You gotta send me that picture just in case I missed it.
I will send that definitely. So,
Hey, you know what? He has awesome merchandise. I have because again, for anyone who does not know, if you follow me, you definitely know I am a huge Kyle Shanahan fan, and I have his T-shirt that says "It's bully season" with my boy's face all over it, and I'm like, "That's right, baby, Kyle Shanahan all day, every day." I'm like, so I as soon as he had that shirt, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely buying that shirt. I'm rocking that boy." Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm surprised, Denise, that you didn't jump in on. I had a bit of an exchange on Twitter the other day with not the Farmer Scout, but someone as bad as the Farmer Scout, and he was basically calling me out for my love of Kyle Shanahan. So if you go back through my tweets, I'm sure you can join in with me. But Get Me Boy has reached out to the 49er Faithful UK, and we're hoping, Denise, that he's going to put together a package so we can bulk buy to get the shipping cheaper. So you flexing that poster has made some people very jealous because we were just talking about it today on the group. So, and he does follow me on both my accounts, so I don't mind giving him a shout out because he's been really good with the 49er Faithful UK.
Oh yeah, his stuff is awesome. And you know what? Let me be the first to say, like, that person, that former scout, oh, Jesus Christ, like, I mean, if I lived anywhere near him, like, somebody needs to go slap that boy upside the head. Because first of all, I don't know who said that. I don't know who told that boy he could rap, but let me be the one to tell him, you can't. So you need to stop embarrassing yourself on live Twitter feeds because it's just sad. Like, stop it, please.
Well,
like, oh my God.
When he first, to be honest with you, in the UK, there's a couple of Facebook groups for NFL UK. It's not just 49ers. and he started spamming all this stuff about 18 months ago. It was just random articles, and at first I thought he was just a UK fan, knew the sport. I took it with a pinch of salt. And then when I found out he was allegedly a former scout and he went after Trey Lance on social media, I offered him the chance to come on Let's Talk Sport and have a sensible discussion. But I think he went on with CJ Ruthless. I think that went was
Yes.
it night.
I saw the little clip. I don't know how long he was on there because I didn't watch the episode.
I haven't seen it yet. No, I haven't seen it yet. Because weren't you on a show, Izzy, with CJ Ruthless when he was talking about it? I'm sure that's where I saw it.
Yep. He was very excited to have that particular scout to call him out. I'm not watching it because I'm not going down that rabbit hole of anger.
No. To be honest, when I asked if it was a show, with me being off work, I want anything and everything to fill my time. So some of the shows merge into one, to be honest. So
I'm surprised no one jumped in on my Twitter feed when I was literally getting roasted by someone who was literally arguing with me about Jimmy Garoppolo, and I was like, here's what's funny is I didn't even really say anything that negative about Jimmy. All I said was Jimmy is not as awful as everybody thinks, and Jimmy is not as great as everybody thinks. Jimmy's just average. That's it. Jimmy's just average. He's not as horrible as all the fans think, and he's not as great as all the Jimmy stands think. He's average. He's an average quarterback. That's it. And this guy came after me, and I'm just like, dude, telling me that, Trey Lance is a bust, and, you guys are gonna, everyone's gonna get a rude awakening when he starts and all this other stuff. And I'm like, dude, obviously Kyle and John didn't agree with you. They obviously didn't agree with you, because if they thought Jimmy was good enough, they're like, well, all Jimmy does is win. I'm like, if someone, I can't stand that argument. I cannot stand that argument. All Jimmy does is win. Really? Well, he's like, how is it not good enough? We've been to multiple, NFC championships. We've done this. We've done that. I'm like, the operative word you're looking for is we. We have done this. We, the collective, not Jimmy, not by himself. We have done this. The problem is the Jimmy part can't get us over the hump. That's why Kyle went out and drafted Trey Lance, because we need the person who can get us over the hump. Kyle's system and what he does can only take us so far. We need the person, when the play breaks down, they can make shit happen. That's what we need. And Jimmy is not that person. And that's why we need someone better.
I mean, I didn't see that on your feed, but it's similar to where I think it might be the same person, possibly, from what you're talking about. It was a similar argument, and he was basically calling me out saying, are you blindly faithful to Kyle Shanahan? And I was like, well, with all due respect, Kyle Shanahan knows more about football than I do. He's my head coach. I love my team. I'm going to get behind. I mean, got a Jimmy jersey hung up there, Denise. I was the same as you. I thought Jimmy, I wanted him to be great. Ruby had a Jimmy jersey. Jason Aponte said it on his show the other night. He can see Jimmy ending up in Seattle. Seattle is our first home game this season, and he said he hopes Jimmy gets a good reception, but it's time to move on. And you've just said there, Denise, I'm preparing to go on another show next week, and they're not fans of Trey Lance, and I know where the conversation's going, and I'm already preparing for what you've just said there. Kyle Shanahan, open the playbook. Trey Lance gives us a lot more opportunities. So as soon as you said that, I was like, I'm going to have you on speed dial just in case I need backup. I'll get to these songs.
Well, and it's true, though. That's what people don't understand. Just look at if you just look at the game, and I'm sorry, for the people who don't like Kyle, I say this to Izzy all the time. For people who don't like Kyle Shanahan, please tell me what coach is out there right now who is better than he is. Who's out there right now who's better than he is? And I can't stand when people are like, oh, this coach, oh, Andy Reid. Well, I'm like, Andy Reid's not available. He's not available. So I'm saying, who is available right now? Who is better than him? Nobody. Nobody. Everyone always brings up the Bills coach. I think the Bills coach is phenomenal. I do. I think Andy Reid is phenomenal. But again, both those coaches are not available.
But isn't it
They have coaching jobs.
Isn't it interesting with the Bills, or like, if Trey Lance can be as good as Josh Allen, we'll all be delighted. But Josh Allen didn't become the Josh Allen we know now overnight. There was some growing pains. He had the team behind him, and that's what Kyle Shanahan is doing. He's putting the team around Trey Lance. Let's just see what happens. But this season, they're going to have to play 11 on 11. We said that the other week, Denise. They're no longer going to be playing 11 on 10. I did Let's Talk Sports yesterday, and the guy is a Jets fan who's my co-host, and he asked me, so I will ask you three the same question. He was like, would you like Jimmy Garoppolo to be traded to the Browns? That was what I got asked yesterday, so I'll let you three answer that question, and then I will tell you my answer.
Me personally, I think that's the only place for Jimmy, because I think the Panthers are out. I will be shocked if the Panthers actually do trade for Jimmy, I would be shocked at this point. I think they're out. I could be way off base on my analysis, but that's what I think. I think if Deshaun Watson is benched for a year and Baker Mayfield is like, screw you to the Browns, then Jimmy is their best option. Again, that's what I think. And I think if the Browns are out, then I think we're going to end up releasing him. That's what I think. Ultimately, if the Browns don't come calling, I think we end up releasing him. That's what I think.
Is he? Are you not wanting to?
I honestly believe and I've said this many times, people always laugh at me, but I honestly think he's going to be cut and he's going to end up going where Senior Katz first went, and he's going to go to MetLife and be part of Together Blue, which I still think is the dumbest name for a franchise, but I think he's going to be a Giant because Daniel Jones is coming off a horrendous neck injury. Tyrod Taylor, though he was a good quarterback at one point, I believe, is way more injury prone than Daniel Jones, and they just got Brian Dable, and if any team's desperate enough to take a swing at him once he's cut, I think it's the Giants.
Really? I didn't think about the Giants.
Yeah, I answered it in two ways yesterday. I said, as a 49ers fan, anything we can get for Jimmy at this point, I'm taking. Any team wants to trade, it can go. As a Jimmy fan in the UK, I did like Jimmy. I was like, does he really want to go to the Browns on a 1-year rental? I'm not going to go down the Deshaun route because I've got no interest in that. But I don't know whether we have got many options, like you both said. I mean, the Giants is an interesting one, Melissa. My friends,
that is
the fantasy football podcast, and they have been talking Daniel Jones up. So I think they would be gutted that their latest episode had just gone out when they've talked up Daniel Jones if Jimmy arrived. So, but that is possibly a place I hadn't thought he would end up, to be honest.
The only difference is that the Giants don't have a good running game, and that is kind of like what Jimmy needs to survive. And Saquon Barkley folds up more than their former quarterback Eli Manning did. So,
2-time Super Bowl
good one.
But did you see him the last few years of his career, though? Like, anytime the guy, like, cut around the edge, whether it was the left side or the right side, if he was within, like, a 5-foot range of Eli Manning, he would literally, like, tuck his legs underneath him and crumple to the ground before the guy got near him. Like, it was really, really bad. My father hated Eli Manning at the end.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he's quite popular over here. There's quite a lot of Giants fans, and they all had 10 jerseys. So when he left, I think there was a few people a bit surprised. But come on, Ryan, what's your thoughts on Jimmy to the Browns? You happy with it?
Don't give a shit as long as he goes. I don't care. As long as he's out of here. I mean, I never going to eat some kind of money on it, but, you know, I just hope he goes. I'm moving on already with Trey Lance, so I can't wait for him. So, I mean, That's the way I feel about him. I mean, I lost love about Jimmy G a while ago, so it's just the fact all the stuff he's done and being a statue and not having a count in his head, trying to get out of pocket fast enough. It just drives me nuts.
Ryan, are you over the pirouette? Are you over the ballerina move?
Yes, I'm over that too. Yes, I am.
Ballerina,
statue, whatever you call them.
It's funny though that everyone keeps saying the Browns. Like, I think that Jacoby does not want to see Jimmy at all ever again. Especially now with Julian Edelman and Martellus Brennan and everyone now like finally feeling the freedom to roast this guy for what he did as a Patriot. It's like Jacoby's like, dude, I had like literal ligament damage in my fingers on my throwing hand, and I had to play because your sorry ass didn't want to come in. Like, I don't see Jimmy and Jacoby Brissett being on the same team again.
My only comment on that Edelman comment the other day, sorry Denise, was at the time it was very clear it was Tom Brady's team. He was suspended for 4 games. He was always coming back. And we always won about the NFL being a business. I mean, obviously I wasn't there at the time, but I kind of understand Jimmy possibly not going all in, where obviously the 49ers was his team. He had the locker room. Obviously, if you're to believe the team, which I like to believe, he did play injured last year. I think I was probably one of the last ones off the train with Dion for great light and telling me. But I think for me, the NFC Championship game, that last drive, I was in a lot of pain because of my own injury. For me, that's when I was like, this needs to be done now. if that was going to be the opportunity, if we've got over and say we've got the Super Bowl and we've lost in the Super Bowl, the fans could have pointed back to Jimmy on that last drive. That for me was kind of a bit of a fitting end to his 49ers career. There it was. And that's what we've all been asking for. There at the moment, as a quarterback, you get judged on, in my humble opinion.
What did you guys think of? I'm curious to know what you guys thought of what Scheffner said the other day about Jimmy Garoppolo. I was really shocked by his comment. Did you guys hear him? Scheffner? Did you guys hear
Scheffner?
Yeah.
Okay.
What did he say?
Did you guys hear the comments when he like the 49ers, after they went back and watched the film, they realized how good Jimmy was and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what?
Are you talking about Adam Schefter?
Yes.
Oh, I hate that man.
No, I haven't seen that. I mean,
it was on NFL.com. You guys, seriously, you didn't see it? Everybody posted it on Twitter. Everybody.
I've avoided Twitter recently because of all the pay Debo crap, and quite honestly, I will forever tell this story. I hate Adam Schefter with a passion. My father is a Giants fan. I live in New Jersey. I lived through how Adam Schefter became famous, so he legitimately bought. Well, and it's also kind of thematical because this weekend, Jason Pierre-Paul a couple years ago was a really big deal, and he had a party and they had fireworks, and the firework literally blew, he thought it was a dud, and he picked it up, and then he realized it wasn't a dud, so he had to wrap his hand around it to save his own life and everyone who was at his party. So he blew up his hand. He lost multiple fingers and multiple parts of fingers. And Adam Schefter actually legitimately went to the hospital where he was treated, bought the medical files, released them on ESPN, and that's how he became the starting go-to correspondent for ESPN. So I legitimately have major beef with someone who can do that and skate away scot-free on seriously criminal charges. So I do not respect Adam Schefter or anything that man has to say.
Wow. I didn't know that, but I was just curious if you guys had heard it. That's all I asked.
Yeah,
like, I didn't know that.
You gave me the opening. I had to take it. Like, yeah,
after the Dwayne Haskins disrespect,
yeah,
I lost respect for him. That's where I lost it right there. I'm done with him.
One of my best friends is a Washington fan, and he loved Haskins. Like, it was his player coming out of college. He's got signed memorabilia. When Schefter released the news on Haskins, that's like what Ryan said. I unfollowed him then. So, to be honest, I'm very active on social media, so I am surprised I haven't seen it. But running the two accounts, I run my own account and the 49 Faithful UK one. And as you've probably seen on my social media this week, 3 of my friends have launched their own fantasy football pod. So I've been giving them a helping hand with a bit of promotion. And thanks to Izzy, I made it on the locker room rant. Stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning to join John V and the boys.
Hey, Paul, how far are you and Rubes? You guys agree on that yet?
Are we what, sorry?
About your chat with you and Rubes? Your channel with Rubes? Are you guys going for it?
I think I'll be doing it on my own, and then I'm maybe sprinkling Rubes and the girls, but I do think I want to start off on my own. And I had a chat with John V about it the other night, and I say big-headedly, last 6 months built up my following, obviously doing shows like yours, so I want to do it properly. I don't want to just suddenly on the back of Sunday jump on. So I've got a friend who's going to do me an intro video, and I need to think of a name, but that might be a social media competition. Help name my show, so I'll get you all involved.
That's cool.
Hey, you should hit up Lou if you want like original artwork, maybe like with some of your favorite players, because I legitimately cannot tell you how much I love Lou. Lou is like one of the sweetest people in the world. And you know how like sometimes he has to because people are shitheads and steal his work? He had posted this picture last year after the Cincinnati game where Kittle went up and, you know, he had that big crazy bend half in the air thing for the catch in the fourth quarter. And he had this beautiful picture, and he had like 4K, and he had like the tags across the middle and the top. And I asked him, I was like, I really want this picture as my like phone background, but I cannot see George clearly enough because, you know, he has to have that big like white opaque thing across the middle so no one steals his photo. So he was kind enough to send me a version that's regular and then the 4K version where he took out the extra tag across the middle. And like anyone who's seen him, he makes the Grand Theft Auto avatars. He makes like all the other kind of avatars for people. Like, get him, boy. I cannot stress enough how lovely this man is. And if
he does great work too.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's done me a picture, which to be fair, I haven't released yet, is he? So he was doing them for all the faithful. Recently, and obviously I run 49 Faithful UK, and he hit me up and he was like, "Can I have permission to do you something?" I was like, "Yeah." Okay. And he sent me the picture, so I might use that as my YouTube thing. But
that's funny because that's how he and I met. Like I had been, you know, I retweet a lot of people and try to get them noticed, even though I don't have that many followers. And he had offered a while ago to make me an avatar, and that's how he and I started talking and getting close. I cannot take that because East Bay Chris was kind enough to make not only 1, 2, but 3 different bobbleheads right by the draft. And he made me one for Trey once Trey was the official pick. So I can't move on from that, but that's just the kind of people they are, and I really appreciate them.
Well, when Ryan said we didn't have much to talk about tonight, I mean, what I love about the Faithful, obviously we had that interaction, us 3, with the Nick Bosa the other night, and obviously on the locker room rant. To be honest, Izzy, Tracy doesn't watch a lot of my stuff because she's not really interested in the 49ers. But she watched the John V show, just seeing how happy he was for me to jump on, and then you were in the comments. So it's a 2 a.m. start in the UK, and it got to about 11:30 here on Tuesday, and I was like, can I do it? I'm back at work next week. It's now or never. And it got to midnight, and I text John V, and I was like, I'm going to try. And then I think you were on the show, Melissa, when I jumped in the comments, and I was like, I'm here. So he was like, get yourself on. So it was a blast. And Tony and Nico were well behaved, and it was awesome, man.
I give you credit. I can't hold my temper with Nick anymore. I want to so bad just for John and Tony, but I legitimately just want to punch him right in the junk, especially when he goes up to do that stupid dance.
Well, that said, Izzy, I didn't think I'd go on a talk show to talk 49ers and end up talking about Harry Potter. But I'm not a Harry Potter fan, so my knowledge was very.
It's funny, you know what? You didn't know that much about Harry Potter, and they put you on the spot, and I'm like the diehard Harry Potter fan.
I love Harry Potter.
Well, as you'll have heard, Denise, because you watched the other night, Tracy works at Durham University, which is next to the cathedral here in England, and that's where they filmed a lot of the Hogwarts background. So when we go to pick Tracy up from work, the kids like Harry Potter, so it's like a bit of a mecca for Harry Potter fans. But it's just, I don't enjoy the books. That's the only reason. But I watched the movies. It was just funny that's where Tony asked the question, didn't he, Melissa? He was like, so. I thought, oh, what's he going to ask me?
They also think that all UK fans have to love the things that are about them. So that I'm sure if they knew Doctor Who, they think everyone's a Doctor Who fan or a Harry Potter fan or whatever it is.
Yeah, I didn't read the books. My kids did, but I hate to admit this, but I hate to read. I really do. I'm like, I read Doc. I'm working right now as we're talking, and I read Doc all day long. So like when I'm done like with work, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to read. So yeah, that's why I watch.
You should try if you want to. You should try out audiobooks. There's
that's what everyone
called audiobooks for Amazon.
Yeah, everybody recommends audiobooks because I'm one of those people. I'm like, let's be honest, everybody. If the book's any good, they're going to make it into a movie. So that's why I want
most movie adaptations are butchered to hell and back.
Yes, I know, Izzy. That's what everybody tells me.
Well, to be fair today, so when you say make into a movie, I got the Bill Walsh about the storm. I can't remember the title. I got the Bill Walsh book for Christmas, and reading that as a UK fan must have been awesome. Being a 49ers fan during that time when he came in, he changed the franchise. I think it's called The Score Takes Care of Itself. I got that, and I got the Steve Young autobiography for Christmas. So I smashed them out. They're not easy to get NFL books over here, but
actually, those like Izzy said, the audiobook. Those are audiobooks I actually would enjoy. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm such a huge fan, and I was around when all that was going on. So, like, I would love to watch that stuff or listen to that stuff. But yeah,
some of my favorite ones are when you get really lucky and the actual like actor or person associated with the role gets to actually read the actual book itself. Like for me, I'm a big Star Wars fan. So originally I hated Ahsoka Tano when they introduced her in the movie, but then she grew on me and she became like one of my favorite characters. So when I found out that I had a free audiobook thanks to Amazon, I went and bought the I used the voucher, but I got the Ahsoka Tano audiobook. And it's actually Ashley Ecclestein who actually does the voiceover for the entire book. And I literally lost my shit when that happened.
I'm just chuckling because I made Rubes become a Star Wars fan today. So she'd never seen any of them. So when lockdown came in, I made her watch them in order, and she's converted now. So he is a proper mini-me when it comes to Star Wars and the 49. She doesn't have a choice. God bless her. But,
you want to know something funny is, I'm older, like I'm the grandma of the show, seriously. Like I'm the old lady of the show, but I'm totally okay with that now. Like I used to be one of those vain people that was like, oh my God, I'm old. Now I don't care. But anyways.
You're not old. You're not old. Don't worry.
The point is that my kids, like, it's so funny because my kids are older. Like my son is, let's see. Come on, Mom. Don't be embarrassed. Let's see. He's going to be 30 in September. And then my daughter is going to be 25. So my kids, like, are into older movies and older music. And it's funny because their friends are always like, why do you like this stuff? You know what I mean? They're like, how did you do this stuff? Like, my daughter loves, like, 80s movie and, like 80s music and like oldies and like, oldies hip hop. And it's so funny because her friends are like, what the hell? Like, why do you like this shit? And my daughter's like, what are you talking about? This is good music. The shit that's out now sucks. And I'm like, they were right. That's what you need to tell them, girl. I'm like, the stuff I grew up on, that's music. The stuff that's out now, not so much. I'm like, yeah, that's like it is. I said, same thing with movies. You know why they do remakes? Because the shit was out when I was young. That's the shit. I said, now they're making remakes. You know why? Because it was good back then.
And yes, there is a lot of remakes out there too. A lot of them.
Right?
A lot of reboots too.
So part of
So that's why, like, when you said you got your daughter into Star Wars, I'm like, amen. That's what I like. I'm telling you, dude, I raised my kids. Like, my kids watched all 80s movies and stuff. And yeah, the way it is.
it's just ironic. I took her to Disneyland Paris when she was 5, and they had an awesome photo experience with Vader, but she was only 5. So but I was at physio 2 weeks ago, Denise, and the physio was like, "Through part of your rehab, I need you to stand on your bad leg and catch a ball. Do you have anyone that can throw a ball to you?" I was like, "Yeah, I do," because Jasmine and Ruby are both into throwing the ball. So we've got a beach near us. So we went the other night to the beach, and everyone in England's kicking a football around or playing cricket. He does rock up on the beach, NFL ball, throwing the ball at each other. So it felt good to be actually catching the ball and throwing it, but I'm still a long way off from running. But the girls get asked it, like, especially Jasmine now, she's at I say high school, it's secondary school over here. She's obviously shown an interest in flag football, and she's been to a couple of training sessions, and you get it asked because even though the game is massive over here for like the adults to watch the game at grassroots level, there's still a lot to do. But I think the NFL are keen to break into that. I'm seeing more and more of it on social media. So, but yeah. No, it's awesome that you're to. It sounds like they've got taste in these. It sounds like they've been raised right, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, right? Exactly. That's what I say. It's like, it's just how some people, like, don't introduce their kids to, like, I'm like, how do you not, like, and I mean, like, even oldies, like, from before, like, you know, mine and my husband's era, like, you know, way, like, we listened to, like, oldies, like, you know, 50s, 60s, 70s music, you know, like we love the old school music, and my kids do too. And my son is huge into music, huge. Like, my son absolutely missed his calling. Like, he does pools out here, which, I mean, hey, you know, you're in Arizona and it's 120 degrees in the summer. So, I mean, I guess you didn't miss your calling because you'll always have a job, right? You don't have to worry about that in Arizona. But he loves music so much. And like, I told him, I'm like, you would be an amazing, like, producer or something in that realm of, like, you know, something in that realm of music, because he just absolutely loves all music, like, just loves it. Like, and he knows of people, like, before they're big time. Like, he goes and watches people, like, before they're somebody.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then they become somebody. And I'm like, wow. And I'll be like, hey, that person's really good. He goes, oh, yeah, I've been listening to them for years. And I'm like, really? I'm like, okay. I'm like, there you go.
Well, I was saying, Denise, the 3 friends of mine who started the fantasy football podcast, we've got a couple of friends who don't get podcasts. And I got asked the other day, why do you do the podcasts? And I was like, well, for me in the UK, you touched upon it earlier, you've seen the story. We don't always get the latest up-to-date news in the NFL. So the way I look at it is, when I'm absorbing all the content, if I'm doing shows like this and I drop a little bit of a nugget, want of a better word, that my friends may not have seen, then that's why I do these shows. And obviously I get to connect with the likes of yourself and, you know,
yeah.
Viewership keeps going.
No, you're fine. I honestly,
Don't worry about Paul. It's all good, man. It's all good, Paul.
The podcast world is how, like, I love the people I've met. Like I love Izzy, and like, she's one of my best friends, and like, I met her through Twitter. Like, I would never know her otherwise. Like, I would, you know what I mean? I never would have known her if I hadn't got on Twitter. You know, and like, we talk even off Twitter, you know, and we're good friends. You know, and I love that. It's like, you know, I mean, now granted, there's some people on Twitter that I'm like, oh yeah, no. But you know, the majority of the people that I meet on Twitter are like people like you guys, you know.
I told you, it's quality over quantity.
Yeah. It's like, you know, nice, you know, people that, you know, enjoy the because that's my thing. Like, honestly, like, I love interacting with people who enjoy the 49ers, don't want to just bitch and complain about our team, no team's perfect. I mean, let's be honest, like, I don't care who you root for, no team's perfect. Like, every team has its issues, whatever, but, like, I love the 49ers. Like, they're my team.
Well, that's why that's for me, I'm massive on social media, and I use Twitter for 49er fans. So I signed up for a Twitter account in 2012 to me because naively, I felt like I was the only guy in the UK that was watching this wonderful, strange game at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I jumped on social media to interact, and I said it on Let's Talk About Denise. We are a community. All the content creators that I follow anyway seem to support each other. And shows like this are great, man. It builds the chemistry in it, and it's great to see. Like, I'm in England, you're in Arizona. Obviously, Ryan and Izzy are joining us, and you think it's amazing. But training camp, that's what's the next big one, Ryan. So does that start? I think it's July the 27th. So
27th July. Yep.
Well, are the red and gold crew taking a bit of time off until then? Or does that mean that the viewers have got us in the place until then, the Faithful Empire?
Yep. Faithful Empire is going to be riding it until then. And then when fellas text me back and say to me, hey guys, we're doing a show, that's when we're going back on again. So I wanted to throw something at you guys. I know you guys know the schedule. What team or teams are you most excited to see against us in this year's schedule?
Justin Fields versus Trey Lance. I have waited for this game since the draft. I need this game to happen now. I need to see it happen. I know the Bears are going to be very different, but I've been waiting for this. I begged for Halloween to have it, and finally the Chicago kid is not going to screw up my hopes and dreams, so I cannot wait for week 1.
You know what's funny? That's the game I'm excited about too, because on the draft, that's who I wanted. I either want my first choice was, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to be the person who's like, oh no, I wanted Trey Lance. My first choice honestly was Justin Fields. That's who I wanted. I wanted Justin Fields. And then my second choice was Trey Lance. That's who I wanted. I was like,
that's mostly because of NY to the Bay for me. I fell in love with Justin because he had Justin as his guy, and Mike was like, you gotta see this kid. This kid's so awesome. And then, it's funny. Justin Fields has my birthday. That was like the last thing after seeing the film that was like the clincher for me. Like, I get to root for a quarterback that has my birthday, and then I think the team made the right choice. But so for me,
I love Trey Lance. I'm not upset at all. The only person I would have been upset at is if, like I said, had they drafted Macaroni Jones, oh yeah, Denise would have been pissed. I
love you, but I do not want to spit all over the mug you sent me.
When you say Justin Fields was your first choice, it was when we did the preview, Denise, for the 49er Faithful UK, the host gave us. So my friend Gareth got Trey Lance. I was given Justin Fields. So I had to go away, watch the tape. And like you, I thought, right, I fell in love with this guy. That's who I want. And I didn't want Mac Jones. So obviously, when we got Trey Lance, I got a friend who was a Rams fan. And he texted me, Denise, as soon as the draft pick came in and said, Trey Lance is going to be scary in your offense. So that for me. But week 1, sorry, Ryan, I'm agreeing with the ladies because the 49er Faithful UK, we're having a meet-up. The 49ers are going to be involved, and we're hoping to have an in-season meet-up, which is going to be the 6 o'clock game over here, which is perfect for a meet-up. So I'm excited for that one. But also, can't wait to see the Dolphins because Kyle Shanahan versus McDaniel.
Oh, that's a good one. That's going to be a good one. Kyle versus Mike McDaniels. That's going to be a good one.
But
I'm still sour about that week 5 matchup, and I'm not mentioning why I was very sour about that matchup from 2020.
Oh, no, right, yeah. See, I went and got my notebook, Ryan, because my boss is phoning me on Monday, and my boss thinks she's phoning me for a return to work interview. Lord, does she know I've got the fixtures for the season, and all the games that were on at 1 a.m, I need to book the day off work for the day after because there's no way I'm going to work. So with the 49ers being a West Coast team, being epic is what we always are. We always have a lot of prime time games. But, selfishly, for us in the UK, the Commanders game is Christmas Eve. That's a 9 p.m. game. I'm so glad it wasn't the late game because that would have got me in some trouble at home if it was the late game on 1 a.m. on Christmas. Urban Santa Claus bringing the presents might have got me in trouble, but the Bears game should be awesome, man. Trey Lance versus Justin Fields, week 1, all the hype should be good.
So y'all picked Chicago?
Yeah, that's the one we're all.
Damn. Well, no, mine is
Chicago.
Yeah.
Nope. Atlanta. You know why?
Because you're going.
To it. Yup.
Yes.
Me, my wife, and my kids are all going.
That's
That's
wonderful.
going.
awesome.
Awesome.
And Mav and his family are going too. We already talked
Oh,
already about it.
really? That's going to be super
We're
cool.
going-
Are you guys
we're going-
all sitting together?
We don't know about sitting together, but we know we're going to do. I'm probably going to end up doing a show from the stadium, and when we get there, so
Oh,
basically,
that's
I'm
super
gonna
cool.
pop it on there, get it going. You know, do the show while I'm there. As I watch out, I don't get flagged for any major stuff that's there. The logo, all kinds of pictures. I gotta watch out for that. So anything I gotta watch out for.
Yeah.
But we all agreed. My wife agreed with me. We're going to a game in Atlanta. I would have picked Carolina, but Atlanta's closer to Mav than me. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna drive it. So I'm gonna drive Atlanta. We're going to stay. She's already got the days planned off for her job.
Don't worry about doing a show, Ryan. Just have an awesome time.
I want to do it. I want to do
photos and make sure social media is lit. When I set foot in Levi's,
it. I love you, Paul. I love you, man.
3 million photographs of everything that I do, and I've said to Nick, they better be the same. But honestly, Ryan, that's awesome, man. I know you were thinking of going for the fact that you're going to be there with Mav.
I wanted to. It's my first
Say
football
the
game
same
ever.
thing. I was going to say the same thing. I was going to be like, I wouldn't worry about the show. Just have a phenomenal time with your family and just enjoy it. Enjoy the experience.
They
Okay.
can do a show for you, Ryan, and then if you want to ring in, but
I
Denise said,
never-
just
Oh yeah.
I
I'll
would
bring
prefer-
people in. That's fine. That's fine too. I can do that too on my phone. On my phone. They're gonna be on my phone.
I've never been like I want to this. I don't know if it'll happen this year. Maybe it'll happen next year. I want to go to Levi's. I've never been to Levi's. I have never been to Levi's Stadium.
I never went to
I don't know if
Candlestick.
it's worth it. Not
I wish
worth
I
it.
would have went though. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Denise. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I've never been. I was never at Candlestick either. I never made it there either.
I got you.
I never made it there either.
I would love to went to Candlestick Park one time.
Oh,
Love
me
to.
too.
I would
Me
love
too.
to. Now, since you guys voted for Chicago, I went for Atlanta because we're going to the game and everything. Now, there's a quick question for you. On the schedule, since we're not going against them, who would you want to go against this year? Since we're not going against them, who would you want to go against this year? And all the other teams that we're not going against, I guess you're talking about half the teams. So I don't know, half the teams out there really in my hand. I have my phone, of course. What other
Cincinnati.
team? Cincinnati for Miss Melissa. Paul, Denise. Who would you want definitely go against?
Well, the problem I've got with my answer, Ryan, is we're probably going to play them in the Super Bowl, which is the Bills. So I would have liked to have seen Josh Allen versus Trey Lance, but we might get that in the Super Bowl. So
You just made Tony happy for some unknown reason, and he's smiling somewhere in Ohio.
well, I don't know if you
You're
noticed.
saying who do I want to go against?
Yeah, if we're not going against them in the season, but who else would you like to go against? That's the question right there.
Gosh, I'd have to look at the schedule up.
Take your time. It's all good.
Are we going against? I can't even remember what our schedule is off the top of my head.
Tell
Are
me
we
a team.
going against the Chargers?
Yes.
Yeah, we're facing the entire West.
At home. We're at home. Are we at home or are we at Chargers? Are we at Chargers?
It's at home, it's at Levi's.
Yeah.
home.
At home. Yeah, I figured it'd be at home. Yeah. So
Yeah, I cannot wait for Joey Bosa versus Trey Lance.
Tom Brady, sorry ass.
yeah, we're facing him too. Yeah, we're facing them.
Yeah, we're
we're
beating
going
them.
home. We're going home for that too. See, I got you in this one, didn't I, Denise? I got you in this one. got you on that one. See, it's a good question.
That's
It is,
a
isn't it?
good question.
See, while she's thinking, Ryan,
My wife's saying, "I hope Brady kicks your ass."
I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, I can't stand Tom Brady.
I can't stand Tom Brady.
This is my ex-football player.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a Patriots fan.
So yeah, I'm sorry. Can you think of one, Denise? Can you think of one?
No, hold on. I'm looking up the schedule, dude. Like,
Yeah.
seriously,
You might as well get that one.
I am
That
like,
would be a good question. I did that. I threw a curveball at you guys. See that? Threw a curveball.
question. I'm like,
Sorry about the walking duo pain in the butt, but they're restless right now.
Oh, bless them. Now mine's downstairs. I did notice. I was like, oh, they are mega cute. But Trixie would just be a nightmare if she was on the screen. She's a similar sized dog, so. But whilst
Well, they're two different rescues, so one's a little bigger than the other.
actually, everybody I can think of,
Denise is still thinking. I knew it'd be a good one.
everyone that I would want to pick, we face. Like the Chargers, like, because I'm like, my thing is quarterback. Like everyone that I would want to face is quarterback, and like we face all the good quarterbacks.
I'm surprised nobody said Browns against Baker. Where Baker goes to. That way, Posey can do his signature against them.
Well, we'll see that week too when Baker's playing for Seattle and Borsa puts him in the turf and he does the flag celebration.
Yeah,
Even better because he'll be wearing a Seattle uniform.
I got you. So Denise, since you're still thinking, May is easy because we're not going against them this year. The Patriots, my wife. It'll be a back and forth battle.
You're gonna get in trouble with that answer.
She's from Boston.
No wonder she was like, I hope Tom Brady kicks your ass.
I know she is.
Tom Brady. Well, I guess I would love Tom Brady too if he won you 6 Super Bowls or 7 or 8 or how many ever he won them.
I ain't going down that rabbit hole.
So that's the reason why I said that. I was like, I want to be Big Mac, whatever you want to call him. Macaroni and cheese, like Denise calls her.
I blame Breezy for that. Breezy started all those nicknames for Mac Jones.
Oh no, honey! I've been calling. Breezy don't get credit for me calling him Mac because I've been calling him Macaroni Jones since before the draft.
The Mac Jones thing was hilarious. We had a Zoom call, Denise, on the draft night for the 49ers Faithful UK, but people were watching it on different ones. And there was one of the lads who watches college football hates Mac Jones, but he was on a delay. When the pick came in, 90% of us knew it was Trey Lance, but the lad who runs the group mouthed to the camera, "Oh, it's Mac." And this guy, Nagy, went mental. He was like throwing his phone. He was like, no. And then his feed came in, Trey Lance, and he's still, to this day, he's like, I can't believe I fell for that on camera. You've got evidence of it. So whenever I hear the name of Mac Jones, and obviously Carl, who does the Shank Club, Carl 2 Feet in Bounds, he's a super Patriots fan. He's probably, apart from Ryan's wife, he's the only Patriots fan that I interact with. So he's quite
ever since I watched him at his pro day, I nicknamed him Macaroni Jones because I was like, if Kyle picks that noodle arm, I'm gonna die.
He wasn't even watching the pro day though. Like he was talking to Belichick. Like no, but like Kyle, if you saw like the footage whenever it panned to Kyle, it was usually him talking to Belichick or him talking to somebody else. Like I think like 2 seconds in, Kyle's like, I'm not interested in this guy at all.
Kyle's like, Bill, you should pick this guy. Bill, he's proven.
Bill, come get Jimmy Garoppolo away from me.
Right? Bill, how dare you talk me into Jimmy Garoppolo? You're fine.
I was just like, we'll return the favour. You helped me out back then. You can have him back now. We're all good friends. And then, I mean, Mac Jones didn't even light up the Senior Bowl. I mean, at the time, Javier Vega was someone that I was following quite a lot on social media, and he was there, and he was tweeting out that Mac Jones. He was like, I don't see the hype. There's no way. And to be fair to Javier, he wanted Justin Fields, but he was like, don't worry, we're not trading for Mac Jones. So I was kind of relaxed over here. But yeah, whenever I hear Mac Jones, I'm transported back to my friend Najee losing his SHIT because he thought we drafted him at 3 and he was throwing his phone around. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
Nothing beats John and Dion's reaction to Trey Lance being the pick on Carl's show, though. That was one of my favorite things in the world to watch.
Well, John V's going on Let's Talk Sports on Monday night, and I only found that out after I'd come off air yesterday. I can't do John V on because the guy who runs Let's Talk Sports got me on first, bless him for his sins. So I was the first 49ers content creator we got. And since then, he's gone and got Breezy, John Chapman, John V's going on. So I keep reminding him he's not getting rid of me that easily. I'll see him on Thursday, so the others can just come as a compliment.
That was hilarious.
I definitely now I actually just forgot what I was going to say.
You're still thinking of your answer to Ryan's question, Denise, aren't you?
Actually, I have to agree with you. It would be the Bills because of Josh Allen. It would be the Bills.
More so because of that interview the other day where he did with Kittle, that Bussing with the Boys with Will Compton. I hadn't seen that podcast before, and Josh and Kittle's interaction was quite good. And I think Josh Allen's going to be the go-to quarterback in fantasy, other than Trey Lance, obviously.
Be honest, did you see? When I saw Josh Allen at tight end university, throwing to George Kittle, I was like, oh my God, this is what it looks like with a real quarterback? Wow.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
That's what we're excited for, isn't it? Like we were saying before, it's going to be good.
Yeah. That's exactly what we're excited for. At least that's what I'm excited.
Well, I said.
Can I just say thank you that none of you said the Green Bay Packers?
No, I can't. I have a friend who's an Aaron Rodgers.
Packers.
No, I can't.
Really?
I'm so glad we beat them every time we play them because my friend would absolutely hound me to death. And at the moment, I have all the bragging rights, but nah, I'm done with the Packers now, to be fair.
Well, my brother is cheesehead, so I week 1, I get to see some of my favorite roster guys go up against his team, but then I don't have to deal with them during the year because there's always that hooey weird thing that happens in regular season games recently, like COVID Bowl and then week 3 with Juice being the only real running back. So
we still nearly beat them in week 3. We still nearly beat them. That my friend was.
I know, but
I was like, we nearly beat you. I don't know what you're talking trash to me for.
And that drives me crazy. I keep thinking about that because my brother keeps bringing up that game because he won 2 years in a row during the regular season, and I'm like, everyone's predicting Trey Sermon's gonna have this big breakout year, and I'm like, Kyle really drug his feet with Trey Sermon. I don't see him having the breakout year everyone says he's gonna have.
See, the only thing for that week 3 game, Izzy, which I think went in Kyle's head, was when Aaron Rodgers got the ball in his hand. I knew they were going to march down the field. It was a prime-time game. It was 4:30 a.m. in the morning here. 37 seconds left on the clock. I thought, I've seen this movie before. He's going to march down the field and they're going to win. And that's what they did. So, but it made it sweeter that we beat them in the playoffs.
That's the best part. My brother can say whatever the hell he wants about having 2 straight first ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and yet he's 4-0, 0-4 in the playoffs. And he keeps whining about, well, at least I have a quarterback. When was the last time you had a quarterback? 1994? And then he has to correct himself because he's like, oh, well, Steve Young played for years after that. But he still can't stomach the fact that Aaron Rodgers has never beaten the Niners.
And they went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. How many Super Bowls have they won in that time?
2. And only been to 3. And get this, Aaron Rodgers is supposed to be the greatest thrower of the football, but Aaron Rodgers has only beaten Caleb Haney in an NFC Championship game. He lost to Carson Palmer. He lost to Kaepernick. He lost to... Was it Kaepernick? Was it?
Yes.
No, Kaepernick was a divisional round. But he lost to Jimmy Garoppolo. He's lost to a whole slew of quarterbacks in the championship game. And he's only beaten Jay Cutler and his backup, Caleb Haney. So
the Kaepernick game was the one where he did all the running, like he did the absolute run. And to be fair,
Yeah.
that's my love for the 49ers, because that was the season, those 2 seasons was when I fell in love with the sport, and I'd never seen a quarterback do that before. I was fairly new to the game then, so as you can see, that's it behind me. Kaepernick, that's him celebrating at that game. My friend hates seeing that picture when he comes to my house.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. I'm sorry, Denise.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that's another quarterback that again, both of them are very talented. But I mean, at least I'll say one thing for Tom Brady that I can't say about Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady at least is like a decent human being. I honestly think Aaron Rodgers is not a decent human being. Granted, I do not know the man, but just everything that I know of him, he just does not strike me as a decent human being.
I think that was the biggest turnoff for everybody this year. The lying about being vaccinated or immunized, and then with the whole, he was gonna rush his decision to help out his teammates, and then he still took his sweet time to like right before free agency. And Devontae Adams was like, dude, I've had enough. You keep playing this game every year. And I think a lot of people started really disliking Aaron Rodgers when he took the media attention away from the 2021 draft, and he announced like right before these quarterbacks were all picked that he was asking for a trade, or he was like unhappy with the Packers. Like, dude, this is like the biggest day for all these guys, not just the quarterbacks, and you're trying to steal the spotlight to yourself because you can't stand it being about these 21-year-olds and 25-year-olds. It's like it was crazy to me.
That's the other thing, though, that I love. That is why, see, that's the one thing I love about Kyle Shanahan that everybody else hates about him. I love Kyle Shanahan has this gargantuan balls. That man has gargantuan balls. I just love him. Why? Because Kyle Shanahan, he didn't give a shit. He called Matt LaFleur and he's like, hey, your quarterback isn't happy. Is he for sale? Is he up? Can I the quarterback? Now, granted, don't get me wrong, I can't stand Aaron Rodgers. So I'm like, I didn't want him, but he is really good. And on our team, like if we would have got Aaron Rodgers on our team, we would have won the Super Bowl. Let's just be honest. Like we would have won the Super Bowl had we got Aaron Rodgers. But again, whatever.
I disagree.
I just love the fact that Kyle had the balls to ask. And then Matt LaFleur got all hurt and pissed off. He's like, how dare you ask me such a question? That's my boy.
You'd have been like me, though, Izzy. You'd have had to get a Rodgers 49ers jersey just to wind your brother up. Because I'd have got one. I don't
have a jersey at all. I can promise you, if I had won 10 raffles, I would have given all 10 raffles away if they were all Aaron Rodgers jerseys. I do not like this man. I cannot stress to you enough the issues with my brother back and forth over this horrible man. I would not. I would have been offended if that was my first jersey in the world. I'm being honest with you.
I was just saying from a banter point. But what Denise said from a football point of view, when I first started getting into the game, I couldn't understand why Brady was never taking the top money. He was always taking team-friendly deals. And you're right, Denise. This year, Rodgers hasn't done anything to help his team. He's took the maximum money he can take. He's basically alluded to, oh, shall I retire? Shall I not retire? And now his best target has gone to the Raiders. And I love the fact that Adams has come out and said, there's not much difference between Carr and Rodgers, because I use that article, Izzy, to wind my friend up.
That is phenomenal. Got
to be done. And there was a picture of them, Denise, of Carr and Adams in high school had won some trophy. And I think Adams had done an interview saying, well, we've won together before. Yeah, that got dropped in the group chat. The picture got circulated. He's upgraded to a better quarterback.
Okay, you should try what I did. Okay, so when I believe it was the 2020 draft? Yeah. Okay, so when the 2020 draft happened and my brother wanted Ayuk or one of the receivers, and do you remember the Packers traded up in that draft? When Jordan Love was the pick, my brother lost his shit. Like he's freaked out about Randy Gray. It's not Randy Gregory, Rashawn Gary. Okay. Okay, so he hated Rashawn Gary. He hated AJ Dillon, who ended up being the second pick of that draft. But when my brother found out it was Jordan Love, I kid you not, for 2 weeks straight, I played All You Need Is Love from the Beatles over and over and over again. And my brother lost his mind.
That's a good one.
Gotta be done, man.
That was fun.
All you need is love. I love it.
It fits too. That's his name, Jordan Love.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we've been on for an hour and 55 minutes. If you guys are good, we can still go. But if you guys are good, you can leave if you want. I had to take my wife to work. So
That seems a fitting place to end. All you need is love.
all it is, all love.
Like,
Right.
you've
That's
ended on
perfect. Actually, that's a perfect ending. All you need is love. No one wants to listen to me sing. People out immediately. They'll be like, "Quick, go."
Love's all you need.
I would love to use that for the back intro.
Well, that's Sunday's
I'll try to figure that out if I can.
There you go, Sunday show. You've got the name for Sunday show already. All you need is love.
Yup. I'm gonna try to find it and play it.
His brother will be like,
All we need is
can't
love.
believe you shared that story, and we'll just tweet it out into existence, and he can relive it all over again.
Oh, trust me, my brother hates the Niners. He always pretends like we don't exist. The best one, Paul, I kid you not, it's gotten so bad lately with all the losing at home and being 13-win teams, like whether it's like 13-3 or 13-4. Okay, I kid you not, the other day we were talking about the Niners because me and my father were talking, and then, he has to buzz in. He will not admit Raheem Mostert beat his team. He doesn't admit that Raheem Mostert played in that game. He will not admit that there was a 31 on that field. He is like completely blacklisted the guy from his memory now. It's so funny.
No, my friend's pretty similar. I mean, to be fair, he says he's a Packers fan. He's not. He loves Aaron Rodgers. But his son goes to school with Ruby. He got him a Jones jersey because he didn't want to get him a Rodgers one. So I helped him with the sizing and helped him get that. So there's a bit of banter back and forth. But my friend didn't speak to me for about 2 weeks after the playoff loss. So that was quite good. We'll be back again on Sunday, won't we, Ryan? Before we jump off, let you.
Yes, sir. And what I got for you is all good. You guys are more than welcome to go, and I'll close it out. Thanks, Denise. Thanks for listening, for coming on here. Peace out.
Thanks,
bud.
guys.
No problem. I got you. Okay. There, Paul, bud. I'll see you Sunday, man. Let's see. All right. Close out like I always do. Get it? Okay. There we go.
Hey, before we go off, I wanted to let you know I tried giving you a shout out last night on Nothing But Niners for the call-in show.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. I really do. Of course, shout out to, Mav, Coach Ron, GM Mikey, Drewski, and TJ. All right. And of course, a convo with Mav Cato. All right. Catch him on Tuesday nights. YouTube IG. That Night Life with Coach Ron. All right. On Monday nights. And now he's taking some time off because of the, especially the off season, of course, so training camp starts. But Mav is still doing his. He's still doing his. So it's on Tuesdays. He actually, I think he just had a show with Mikey, GM Mikey. He was on there with him. So this past Tuesday. All right. So, and of course, his Bias D coming soon. I hope he gets that going. I really do. I hope he does. But I'll help him out if he needs help. Or just DM me. Let me know. And of course, Paul, 4950 for UK. All right. Twitter handle. And of course, the 40, I bet say 45, 85. My bad. And of course, shout out to Nick Cork, Shank Club NFL. All right. And he's on Saturdays. Hopefully, he'll be back in a few weeks. Hopefully, Shank Club get going. I told him I support him, and I'll be on the show with him. It's all good. All right. So basically, it's what I have. And keep the faith. Never lose hope, guys. We're out of here. Later.